Hi, this is Dr. Micol Neely, and thanks for listening to our show. We are here to talk a little bit about mindset, movement, and muscle, and maybe a few other little fun things along the way. Hi, Kristina.
Hi.
Welcome back. Welcome back to all of our listeners and viewers. Thanks for joining in. Kristina and I are taking on the Javelina 100 this year. I met Kristina through trail running. She was actually getting back to her running about 10 months ago and ended up getting an IV from us. And then we became instant friends and partners, and she is down over 50 pounds.
Yeah.
But I want to dive a little bit more into you as a woman, especially a leader, and some of the trauma you've been through, because your backstory is incredible. And really why you just have this energy that's shining to other people because of how you've healed from it. Give me a little backstory on what you went through dealing with a divorced home, going through the military, divorce. Like, where were you mindset-wise?
Well, I think growing up in a divorced home is just so different, obviously, than what people would think and expect. For me, it also was happening during the 70s and the 80s. And back then, women were just allowed to open their own bank account. And I think it was 1974, the year I was born.
That's crazy to me.
So there was a lot of struggles that my mother went through, moving us out here away from my father as well, that just created a whole different dynamic than what children deal with now.
Yeah.
With when they go through divorce. But the stuff that I dealt with was just, I was the youngest of 5.
Yeah.
My mom struggled with raising 5 children here in Arizona, and we lived in, small apartments. And she was also trying to finish her college degree.
Wow.
So at times she was not necessarily working. My father was paying child support and stuff, but that only gets so far.
Yeah.
So we did live a lot of times on, food stamps, relied heavily on church donations, things of that nature. Me as a child, I didn't fully understand why we were treated differently, but I knew and could tell that we were being treated differently. And almost as if everybody looked at us with pity.
Okay.
You
could feel that even as a young child.
I could. And so dealing with that, and then dealing with the fact that I had undiagnosed ADHD, it created a lot of, what's the word I want to use? I just had a lot of self-confidence.
Okay.
I had a lot of issues with my self-confidence.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Did you have fear as a child? Did you ever worry about where is food going to come from? Or you hear your mom talking about the bills?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I think that also helped kind of develop a weirdness around food.
Sure.
I think that children who grow up in households where food is not readily available, when they become adults, I believe, obviously I'm not a medical doctor or anything, I'm just a lawyer, but I believe that it does create kind of this idea that when you are able to have food, you tend to overeat.
Yeah.
I think I do. Or I did, I should say.
Because you had that fear growing up that where's the next meal going to come from? My mom's worried.
Correct.
Should I be worried?
Correct.
Huh.
Exactly.
How did that play a role in you becoming an attorney and going through law school?
So interestingly, in junior high, I took I was in history class and we did a mock trial. And that's ultimately where I decided I wanted to be a lawyer.
You probably nailed it.
I don't remember. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But I just remember I've always had kind of this idea of justice.
Yeah.
Justice needs to be served.
Oh.
And to me, justice being served is through the court system.
Okay.
At least back then, that was my mindset.
Sure.
That justice is to be served through the court system.
But before you went to law school, you were in the military, correct?
I was.
What made you decide to go into the military? Especially again, like, what was this, the 90s? And as a woman, like,
yes.
What was that thought process and why did you do that?
So I do have, my grandfather was in World War II.
Okay.
He was in the Army Air Corps before the Air Force was born.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've had uncles and stuff that served in Korea, served in Vietnam. And then one of my older brothers, he also was in the military. And so I kind of have like a family history,
a little
of
legacy
it.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when I was in college, I decided that I wanted to pay for college myself. And so one of the ways to do that was through going into the military.
Okay. Will you share a little bit, like, what was some of the hardest part? I know you've touched on, like, there's a little PTSD. You saw a lot. You've been through a lot. What was that like as a woman in the 90s in the military?
So interestingly, actually, let me just get a drink real quick. Sorry.
Please.
My mouth is getting kind of dry. So in 1993 is when I joined the military. And that's the same year that they just started allowing females to be in engineer units.
Oh, interesting.
So one of my friends, when I was in the military, she was actually she was the first female engineer in the United States military, period. So, but when I wasn't an engineer, but the type of job I had, I was always put in engineer units because the type of job I had, I could be in any type of unit.
Mm-hmm.
And so they utilized me ultimately as a female to start to integrate women into engineer units by putting me in them. So I was usually the first or second, sometimes a third female in any unit that I was in.
Wow.
And so again, that in and of itself creates a whole nother dynamic.
Yeah.
Because you are definitely in a male dominant industry already, being the military, especially in the 90s. And now I'm also being put into units that never had females or just started allowing females in there. And that the military is just such a different world.
Mm-hmm.
It is different.
I can only
world.
imagine.
So imagine, ultimately, basically a female now being able to be into the male locker room.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And so I entered into this world where there were these men that just weren't used to having women do the jobs that they were doing. And so there were times that I really had to prove myself.
Yeah.
And I really had to go above and beyond what they were doing in order to show them that I could do what they could do.
So you're the youngest of 5 with a mom that's fighting for her family. So you probably had to be pretty strong there.
Yes.
And then you're one of the first women in the military in the space you were in a man's world that you're being pretty strong. And then you go to college and law school. Like you're really staying tough here on yourself.
Yes.
How did that feel coming through military and then starting into law school?
So, I was also a paralegal before I went to law school. Okay. So I did kind of have somewhat of a transition. Mm-hmm. I got my degree right after law school. I'm sorry, after the military. Mm-hmm. And then I went and got my bachelor's degree and then decided I was going to go became a paralegal.
Okay.
And then I went to law school at night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're working full time while you're in law school?
Yes, I did. My daughter was 3.
And a mom.
Yeah. And a wife. Yeah. My Bella was 3 when I went to law school.
Wow. How did your experiences and needing to stay strong affect what you chose to do through law?
That's a good question. I have never thought about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think how I ended up going into family law, because I didn't go into law thinking I was going to do family law.
Yeah.
But I think it is the natural place for me to be.
Yeah.
It just
like
seems...
it. And you're natural at it.
Thank you.
I've seen you.
But I do think it just naturally is where I fit in.
Mhm.
You know, when there's so many different areas of law you can go into.
Mhm.
And when I originally went in as a paralegal, I did more transactional.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing a lot more like real estate, and I was doing in-house counsel, like working with in-house counsel, HR type stuff. And I have a business degree.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when you become a lawyer, it's different, obviously, than being a paralegal.
Yeah.
And I
More
really
responsibility.
yeah,
Time. And,
definitely.
Wow.
But I realized that I'm more of a litigator.
okay.
And so going into family law, I feel like all of my struggles, all of the stuff that I dealt with as a child really has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that purpose and all the stuff that I dealt with as a kid was to bring me to where I'm at as a family law attorney. Because when I work with my clients and we are talking about things and we're addressing, fit issues with regards to the children, I actually will share with my clients my own experience as a child of divorce, as a child who dealt with parents in the visitations and, just the different struggles that the children, and I give my clients that extra point of view coming from somebody who actually went through it.
You've lived it. You can say, as a child, here's how we can do the best thing for that child.
Correct.
I think that's my biggest concern with family court is so often it feels like it's not about the child anymore. It's about the parents who are fighting. But I love that you can say, I was a child of a divorced family and in a time that it was very difficult. What kind of advice do you give to your parents that are going through something like that?
So I really try to get them to step back and say, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for the child? What truly is in the best interest of the child?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, that's really where I try to get each parent to.
Sure.
Let's focus on what is in their best interest and really get them to make sure that they are looking at it from the child's lens.
Yeah. How does your health play a role in you being able to do all this and deal with everything that you do?
I mean, obviously my health has to be not perfect, but it has to be, I have to be doing well and I have to be living a good, healthy life or I could end up, having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Stressed out.
Have you always prioritized your health?
Not always.
Okay.
Not always.
What made it slip? Like, why?
Honestly, the job, when I first really focused 100% on family law is when I worked at this national firm that specialized in representing fathers. And they had just really started opening in Scottsdale.
Okay.
And I was pretty much at one point the only attorney here trying to help them build up their practice here. And that's really where I started my health kind of slipped because I was so focused on the work and so focused on the children and the families. And just really, I dealt with some very, very tough cases too in the beginning that were just really scary to think about what could happen if I didn't help the parties through this, So, I mean, I still deal with tough cases and stuff, but sometimes they're, a little tougher, especially if you're dealing with domestic violence or if you're dealing with other type of allegations and things of that nature. And so I really just totally engrossed myself and got really super duper hyper focused on just being the best attorney I could be and representing my clients to my fullest that, my sleep suffered, my family suffered, my health suffered, I gained a whole bunch of weight. I actually ended up in the hospital. They did think I was having a heart attack. I was working crazy, crazy hours and just like almost pretty much living at the firm. And then they thought I was having a heart attack. I was admitted into the hospital. The CEO of the firm actually, who was not located here, actually came out and lectured me.
Really? Saying, hey, it's time to take care of yourself?
Yes, which I will tell you is very rare.
Yeah.
Usually they want you to just keep working,
Yeah.
build those hours. But I was very fortunate that he was the CEO at the time. And he came out and he lectured me. And then
What a gift.
It really was a blessing. And then he would check up on me and stuff and make sure that I was doing what was right for me. And at that point too, my husband was like, yeah, we can't, like, you can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
So
what was that kind of the culmination or your aha moment, or what really made you decide, okay, I have to prioritize my health, or I can't take care of everybody else and my husband and my
it was
job.
really that. It was that
Right
moment.
Yeah.
It was at that moment when I was like, oh my gosh, I can die.
Yeah.
Like, I think we all know, right?
Yeah.
That our time can end at any time.
But it's hard to face your own mortality until like something big, like, hey, that could have been a heart attack and I might not have been there tomorrow.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so I started down that path of trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just doing everything I could, what was known, this diet, that diet, make sure I exercise again, just all of those things, and nothing was working.
And so then what did we do?
Well, fortunately, I met you. And so in April, we decided, my husband came and we met and everything, and we decided to do the weight loss shots first. And those really helped me, drop that weight and actually see that I can do it.
Yeah.
We've also done massive amounts of blood work.
Yeah.
I have my peptides. I have all my vitamins. I do my IVs.
Yeah.
We've also done that test. I forget what it's called now, but it did the genetics.
We did a genetic testing. Yeah. So we can actually look at your genetic chemistry and makeup and find ways to optimize your health. So it helped us to optimize some of the vitamins we give you, which exercises and rhythm of exercises to do, and even how your brain functions. That's one of my favorites. I think neurology is incredible. But looking at, here's the genetic building blocks of your brain, and how can we optimize that so that you do have that motivation to exercise, that you feel that connection with others around you, that you feel better sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So those are so important.
Yes. Yeah. So those test results have just helped. I mean, I know we just got them and we just barely went over it, but it already has helped me.
Yeah.
Because, one of the things I was excited to find out is that I don't need 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Which I always knew, but
you're like, I told people, now I've got proof.
But you have that pressure because, it's everywhere. You have to have 8 hours of sleep. That was like crazy to me because that was something every day. I was like, I need to get my 8 hours, And
then it becomes this anxiety, like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to.
Exactly. But that was one of the things that I was really excited about to learn is that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is, endurance is what I'm built for. And so I think that's amazing because we're getting ready to do our 100 miles.
Yes. Yes. So it was really neat to see that too for me. Like some of the things we've done have led you to improve in those. And how exciting is this year going to be now that you're really optimizing your health, taking care of yourself? Do you find now, like right now, do you feel like you can take care of your family and others better when you're taking care of yourself first?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
What do you tell other hardworking moms that come and say, I just don't have time to exercise. I don't have time for nutrition.
I tell them they need to find time. Yeah. They need to find time, even if it's just a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Honestly, even if it's just, getting up out of their chair at work and just walking around the office or walking around the block.
Yeah.
Like any movement helps and small changes help.
And taking it day by day.
Yes.
And then you're running, you've said it's really connected you to your belief in God, and that meditation, your belief is so important for you.
Mm-hmm.
We preach these pillars in my clinic that, hey, you need to have sleep, you need to have nutrition, you need to have movement and mindset. And I think I love seeing you seize that and how you've come through so much in your life, and the way that you impact and help others. Haven't you set up something you're doing now for helping veterans?
So one of my goals this year is, as part of my training and trail running and doing the Javelina 100, is I want to fundraise and I want to raise money for female veteran organizations. As a female veteran, I know how important it is for female veterans to get support they need. And I will say that over the years, it's not the same. There's a lot of organizations out there.
Yeah.
But if they're not specifically geared for female veterans, 90% of the time, they're extremely focused on males. And I get it, because the military is still, I think the majority is still male. However, there is a large demographic of females. And I would be shocked I think people would be shocked of how much the military is made up of females.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's just really important to support other female veterans. And so I'm hoping and I'm planning on raising funds to then donate to various female veteran organizations.
That's amazing. I love supporting other women, especially who have been through a journey and then want to turn around and give back. Because even in medicine, it feels like we're just getting around to women's health in a real way. Like with hormones, like testosterone still isn't even on label for treating women. And they didn't test menstrual products on real menstrual blood until just recently. Like
That's
we're
crazy.
behind the times with women. Yeah. But we're coming around, and people like you who are inspiring and want to help others, I think are just such a blessing. And it's been an honor to have you as a friend and to run with you.
Thank you.
What are you looking forward to most this year?
Training. And just accomplishing this to actually get through it and finish it. And just, it's the journey to me. To me, it's all about the journey and just, getting through all those, hurdles and pillars and just showing how strong I am and how stronger I can become.
All right. Well, keep that grace, keep that grit, and I'll see you on the trails. Let's go.